Thanks for permission to share this. So, I just want to make it clear that I'm sharing with you about this tool because when I made that post about, feeling like you've done enough, that has been one of the biggest challenges for me as such an ambitious and multifaceted creative. Getting away from the feeling like there is always something that I should be doing has been huge. And this thing that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share a brief little explanation of how I use it and why it works for me. And you're free to do whatever you like with it as a tool. If you want to just take the same system that I use and run with it and do your best on your own, or even have somebody else support you in using it, that is completely fine with me. This is just coming from my heart to yours, just from the genuine desire of wanting to share this thing that has given me the most relief. But in full transparency, this tool is not easy for me to use. And I have found in several years of messing with it that I really am only successful when I have support and accountability around it, when I have some structure built around it. It's way too easy for it to fall to the wayside and for me to decide that I don't really need it. And I find the difference in my life from when I'm engaged with it and using it to support my flow versus when I'm like, I got this, is huge. So I did, because of that, because I need support in using it, I did come up with a support offer around this. That's one of the ways that I support myself in my own life, is sometimes I will create something and lead it just to give myself the structure and accountability around it, and also to support other people who need the same type of support at the same time. I really think that that kind of collaboration and sharing of intention with our energy is really powerful and effective. So I'm going to share about the tool, and then I'm also going to tell you a little bit about what I've put together as a support offer. No pressure whatsoever. I'm only wanting to send you this because you resonated with this feeling that I know so well, and so I wanted to share that this opportunity is there, and this is something I'm creating. So I'm going to spend a minute, I'll get behind the camera and spend a minute breaking down what this is and how it works for me. And then I will speak a little more about the support I created. So, this is my schedule situation. This is what I use to balance my priorities in my life. To get onto this board, I create a huge master dump list of the different things that I am responsible for and wanting to create and considering, and the things that matter to me, right? And just one big list, and then I go through and I break up that list into the different categories in my life, and that is when I come to this tool and I start to populate it with the fixed things that I have in my schedule, as well as some of the things from these lists. So you'll notice there's the time on the left. These are half-size Post-its. So for measurements, half a Post-it is how wide that gap is. If you want to just try to run with this yourself, like I said, feel free.
there's many reasons why this works for me. One is that this coordinates with time, but it's not exact to time. So my brain perceives the Post-its as being roughly an hour of work. My brain is really not able to tell the difference between a 10-minute task and an hour-long task when I'm looking at a list of tasks. They all feel equally overwhelming. So this gives me a way to represent tasks in a blocking way that when my brain looks at it, it looks like a full schedule and a full day and feels like a lot. But it actually, like some of these blue guys, for example, they often end up being less than an hour of work, sometimes 10, 15 minutes. I'll have tasks on there that I get through well before I thought it was going to. And Giddy, I'm in the middle of explaining something, sweetheart, so I can't interrupt. You need to wait a minute. So reasons why this works for me. It's really flexible. I can move things around according to how things are going in a given day. It is visually balanced. So I see right away that the different priorities in my life and the things that matter to me are represented. This board of mine is not 100% filled out right now. I would typically populate it probably with a couple other things. This is where I'm at with it this weekend, though. So I would say that the most effective thing is when I find myself in any white space, because I make the decisions about what's going to go on this board a week ahead. And I do that with the support of someone else, making a date with someone, and usually I'm on Zoom with someone. Because if I try to do it just on my own, I will tend to blow it off. So I fill it out for the week ahead. And that, hour or so that it takes to make those decisions and put this together definitely feels like, doing homework to do life, which is how I feel about being neurodivergent in general, that I just feel like I'm constantly having to do homework just to function. But once I've done that hour, I'm now in a flow state for the rest of the week. I just have to go to this board and reference it. I don't even have to stick to the board exactly as it is. I can move it according to where I'm at with my flow. I tend to put things heavier on this end of the week and shift them toward the end of the week as I go. It works because the Post-its, it's not like blowing something off and then, I'll do that later, and then it just gets forgotten. The ball gets dropped, which is what happens with many small little tasks in ADHD world. It stays on the board. So even if I don't get to it this week, next week, when I sit with my board and I'm deciding what goes on there, the thing that I blew off is still sitting there looking at me. So I'm not dropping balls. You think the little balls don't matter, but they do. They weigh on you, and they kind of inform your perception of self in a way. And so this, having made the decisions for what goes on this board and decided that, okay, this is a reasonable amount for any human to do during a given week. Anything beyond this would be a bit crazy. Again, this would have a little more on it typically for me. It means that anytime I get to white space, I am in the free zone. I am completely 100% free to relax. I can give myself 100% permission to not do anything. I can just exist and do whatever pleases me, and I can feel free to just check the hell out if that's what I want to do, and I don't need to feel guilty about it. There's so much freedom and relief that comes from having looked at this and represented it for myself in a way that is reassuring to my brain. um, this tool really helps me feel the most like worked out in my stuff, you know? And it really helps me get a clear picture of how I'm representing my priorities with my time. So there's obviously more that I could share about the ins and outs of it. And that's part of what I have created as a support offer. So I have a group on Facebook right now that is called Richly Resourced. And I'd like to use that group to pivot into support around using this tool. So again, this is for my sake first and foremost, and an offer of support to my peers and fellow collaborators secondarily. But I'd like to run a weekly accountability hour to populate the board, or help others facilitate their own accountability meetup around that if, say, that time doesn't work for someone when I'm doing it. I also run co-working hours within that group 3 times a week, and have flexibility and can shift when those hours are happening to make sure that everyone has at least some ability to attend and utilize. If you're not familiar with the concept of co-working, I have found it incredibly effective to, it's based around the idea of body doubling, that we utilize each other's energy for momentum and focus. And I really do find that when I meet with others on Zoom and I'm working on my own work, it's a lot easier and faster to get my own stuff done, and it's a lot more motivating to stay in the flow of things with others alongside me. So the Richly Resourced Support Group would simply be help making sure that you're staying on track with making decisions about your priorities and actually using the tool, and then you would have the option to come and take advantage of the energy in the co-working sessions as well. The co-working times are when I get much of my business complete for the things that I create. And yeah, so the support offer is I am offering just one initial session to help get you completely plugged into this tool. So you would get the materials and make the board yourself with some specific instruction from me, and we would then go through your master list, help you break down your different categories, and deciding what color you're allocating to what, and then I would help you kind of walk through what it's like to first put the things on your schedule that are fixed in time, and go through each category and see where and how you want to represent those things. But I would just be available during that time to give you a full picture of what how to use this tool properly, and then otherwise you would just join the group and have an invitation to
take advantage of that support, and then also to collaborate with the other members of the group and create further accountability if you desire. But having relief from feeling like I should be doing something, having relief from feeling like it's never enough, I find this so relieving. Because it's like you sit, you make all the choices, and once they're made, they're made. And there's such a clarity around the open space that remains. It's one of the things that gives me the most peace. And it's also one of the things that is helping to move and progress my life forward, the things that I want to create, the collaborations that I've made, all supported by this. So, again, absolutely no pressure to join me on this journey. Feel free to take this idea, mold it, make it your own, run with it. It's my gift to you. I hope you'll share it with others. And also, concurrently sharing from experience that I can't do it without support. And so if you feel the same, you're receiving this because I view you as one of my peers and someone I would be so excited to share space with and collaborate with and support. So support mutually. It would feel so yummy. So thank you for listening, and I hope this is helpful regardless, and let me know if you have interest in exploring this with me.